This is Lorefield.
And Sidekick. Say less. We already said too much.
Welcome back to Lorefield Sidekick Say Less, the show where we uncover the stories hiding just beneath the surface. When most of us think of summer fairs, we picture bright lights, thrilling rides, and the smell of funnel cakes, carnival games, and memories made with family and friends. They are places filled with laughter, excitement, and traditions that have been passed down for generations. But every tradition has another side. Behind the colorful midway and cheerful music are stories that many people have never heard. Summer fairs have been the setting for incredible inventions, community celebrations, and unforgettable moments. But they've also witnessed deadly accidents, devastating fires, dangerous scams, shocking crimes, and tragedies that changed safety laws forever. In today's episode, we're pulling back the curtain on the good and the dark history of summer fairs. We'll explore how these events began, why they became such an important part of American culture, and the incredible ways they brought communities together. Then we'll step into the darker side of Midway, the disasters, mysteries, and cautionary tales that remind us not everything behind the flashing light is as innocent as it seems. So grab your favorite fair snack, buckle up, and join us as we take a walk through the history of America's summer fairs, where every ticket has a story and not every one of them has a happy ending. How you doing, Sidekick?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, thank you. So it's our first Saturday of the summer.
Yes, it is. Happy summer.
And
it's living in Florida, it's kind of summer year round. So.
Oh yeah, well, we got our summer coming for us this week. We're supposed to be in the hundreds this week, so we're going to have summer this week.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You can join us.
Difference is I'm staying inside. I'm not going outside. It's too hot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to be outside, so that's never a fun thing, especially with the heat index and the triple digits.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Just remember, stay hydrated if you go out in the heat. That's all.
I'll be watering the farm, taking the dogs out. That's about it.
That's right. That's right. Well, today we're going to talk about where the fairs came from. Because the roots go back way back to they go back to American. It was more Europe, actually. Europe held a seasonal gathering called market fairs back in the 1800s. These events usually happened after harvest season. The farmers would bring livestock over, grain, vegetables, and handmade goods, and then they would trade and sell. I mean, because back in those days, that's how they did things. They traded more than anything. So fairs actually were a big trading port to begin with, which was pretty cool. This was back before they ever had the big turkey leg or anything, It says they went back to the 1400s, but it doesn't give you much on them except where, people would go there to listen to music. They would watch performers, find future spouses even. Like a dating app. I know. Let's go to the fair.
Or like a bar.
Right? Exactly. When I saw that, I was like, really? Find their future spouses? I'm like, wow. They'd buy, like I said, they'd sell their crops. They would catch up on news from different areas because you would meet people from other towns. Because back then, there wasn't a big population in each town, so, and there was so much distance between them. So this is when people would gather to have fun and, like I said, enjoy each other's crops and see what the difference in the soils and things like that, more or less, because, one crop might do better here than did over here. The earliest American fairs focused entirely on the agriculture. Once again, the goal was improvement. Farmers wanted to learn from each other. Let's see. After that, then the competition came in. Then they decided to start making them a little more fun. That's when they decided to see who could get the biggest pumpkin or the biggest cow, sometimes even the biggest horse. I mean, it wasn't just one particular thing. Kind of when I started reading this, first thing that popped in my head was Charlotte's Web.
Right, yeah. There's
Oh,
a fair. There's a fair.
exactly. So because even you even have the largest pigs, and so all animals, livestock, the strongest horses is what they would be looking for. The best homemade pies, your finest quilts. Because back in those days, they made quilts. They didn't have, these nice plush blankets like we have now.
Right.
Everything was sewn together by hand. After it, I mean, it was leaves to begin with, Then it kind of managed to go to a quilt. Because, I mean, before material, what was it? It had to be. Right. It had to be leaves, and to win a ribbon at a fair it wasn't just about bragging rights. It was more about a badge of honor, because that showed that your farm stood out better than the others because you had the biggest pig or the biggest cow, or the chicken that laid the golden egg.
Wait for one of those.
We all need one of those, right?
Right, exactly. Pure gold.
I mean, because winning back then meant your methods were among the best around. That's all. It didn't mean that you were better than anybody. It was just your methods were better. So people learned, and like I said, that was the goal. It was a learning learning thing for everybody to come together and kind of hang out and discuss how they did things, so that maybe this farmer could change something and his crop would grow better. Back in the day, they used to actually help with each other.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then here's where the story kind of starts turning. In 1893, the city of Chicago hosted the legendary World's Columbian Exposition. This wasn't just any fair. I mean, this fair was the most influential events in history, is what sources say. They said over 27 million people attended, and back in those days, there was only 63 million people in the United States. So that's a very big percentage, considering, It says nearly half the country experienced it. People saw, this is where the electricals and inventions started coming in, because it went from just livestock to now, this is where we're going to sell things. This is where the inventors would take their inventions, like the washing machine, the first cars were there. Let's see. I want to say there was some other, just basically all your inventions, probably the first vacuum cleaner was probably even, at a state fair at some point, because that's how people marketed back then. They used state fairs to market. And then after that, then came the Ferris wheel. That's when they wanted to start bringing more children in and making it more fun for families, in a different atmosphere. So the famous Ferris wheel was created specifically to compete with the Eiffel Tower. So when Chicago hosted the fair, the organizers wanted to make a big wow. So the engineer George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. proposed a gigantic rotating wheel, which is what we know today as the Ferris wheel. Mm-hmm.
Which is fun.
The wheels stood 260 feet tall. People rode high above Chicago and saw views that they had never imagined. My dog's barking at something. The attraction, I think it's thunder. The attraction became one of the fair's biggest successes. Today, nearly every fair carnival in America traces parts of its identity back to the Ferris wheel invention, because that was the first ride. Now look at all the rides they have. They have, God, I can't even name them all. I still like to go to the fair. I like to throw the darts and yeah, and play the games. I like the little water game. Yeah,
funnel cakes. Mm-hmm.
Funnel cakes are good too, but I mean, I do like the games, even though it's hard to win the games. But I like the games, and I like to win stuffed animals, and yeah, and bring them home. But one of the greatest benefits of the fair, it wasn't economic. It was social. It was more of a social gathering. Like I said, people from all over the areas would come in, and they would socialize, and children made memories and had fun. And schools would showcase projects. Churches even hosted events at some of these. Businesses met their customers at the state fair. That's pretty cool.
Right.
That'd be cool. Yeah. It's like, let me go interview you over here at the fair. Let's
Right.
ride.
Let's go get us a funnel cake and sit down and have an interview.
Exactly. Or a big old turkey leg.
Right, exactly.
Around with a turkey leg and a funnel cake. Mm-hmm. I'd be set. Mm-hmm. So in small towns, the annual fairs were the biggest gathering of the year. People plan vacations around it. I think they still plan vacations around some of them, like that. The Iowa State Fair is like a huge state fair that people all around go to that fair. I mean, let's see. Yeah, they celebrate more today, more commercial events. There's stories about the big giant pumpkins weighing in more than small cars. So yeah, that because you went into the competition. So yeah, so then you got the big pumpkins, along with the big livestock. So I imagine they had big zucchinis, they had big cucumbers, but the pumpkin, I think, is the only one that really kind of made a big blow open the papers, because it was, like I said, the size of small cars. Butter sculptures. They even fried butter. How do you fry butter? That's what I want to know. I mean,
probably the same way you fry ice cream, I would guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it tastes
how do you
good.
fry? Yeah, but how do you fry ice cream? I mean,
ice cream you actually fry using cereal. We won't say the brand cereal. You use the cereal on the outside. We can talk about that off of this app.
At fairs, you got families passing down blue ribbon recipes over the centuries. You got grandparents, parents, and grandchildren have all won competitions. Back in those days, they all participated. The children would even learn to participate by raising pets and things like that. Family, and the family recipes that survived. One of the most positive impacts that came out of it was groups like the 4-H Club, Future Farmers of America gave young people opportunities to learn things. Like I said, kids raising animals, they learned public speaking. So we don't even have that now. They got out more, and they were engaged more. They developed leadership skills because of learning how to take care of animals, managing projects, and things like that. So they helped, like I said, they helped spread inventions again. I mean, they did the transportation, they did the farm equipment, house inventions, like I said, the vacuum, um, food preservation methods. Yeah, back then they canned a lot, so I can see them having someone, like now you learn how to do DIY projects around your house. Back then they probably learned how to do canning and stuff like that when they went to those fairs and stuff. But some of the best fair stories are simple stories, and the rock band and the mirrors, and rebuilding after disasters and using fairs to raise funds. That's what a lot of the fairs are about, is young people discovering talents, families creating traditions, one ribbon, one project, one animal at a time. So that's a lot of the good side of it. There's more. I mean, if you, I could go on and on, yeah, because you got the fun. Okay, you got all the food, you got all the entertainment. The people because some people they featured there. Bands were started there. I love going and listening to the music and stuff like that. But then you got the spooky side. And that's what I think you went and dug up, isn't it?
Yes, that is exactly what I dug up. Like you said, as we know, fairs nowadays, big artists, little artists, rides, food, vendors, cook-offs, whatever. But to get to where we are now, you have the dark history. And not everything is from way back when. So like the first two stories I got here is actually very recent. Very recent. The first one is the Ohio State Fair fireball ride accident that actually happened July 26, 2017. So very recent, almost 9 years ago.
I recall that one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It was big on social media, I know, and I'm sure on news and everything else. Thousands of people had packed the fairgrounds to enjoy opening day. Families stood in long lines, children laughed, and the midway buzz of excitement. One of the most popular attractions was the fireball, a ride that swings riders in a giant circle while spinning them upside down. My kids rode that thing 2 years ago, and no way. But without a warning, a section of the ride snapped off while it was operating at full speed. Passengers were hurled through the air as it horrified onlookers watching. One 18-year-old man was passed from it, and 7 others suffered serious injuries. Investigators later discovered that excessive internal corrosion had weakened the support beam, damage that wasn't visible from the outside. The tragedy led to stricter inspection procedures and reminded the entire carnival industry for hidden problems that can have devastating consequences. Another recent one is at the Indiana State Fair stage. At the Indiana State Fair stage collapsed. Thousands of people gathered in front of the grandstand waiting for a country music concert to begin. Dark clouds rolled in, but many believed the weather would pass. Then powerful wind gusts slammed into the stage. Within seconds, the massive steel structure collapsed directly on the crowd. 7 people passed, and more than 50 others were injured. Rescue crews worked frantically through twisted steel and shattered equipment while desperately searching for friends and family. After the tragedy, fairs across the country adopted stricter severe weather policies, requiring organizers to monitor storms more closely and cancel events before dangerous conditions develop. That one actually happened in 2011. So, I mean, that's 2 right there. Just
right.
2000s, just very recent. So, still building stuff from it. Another big one is children gone missing. Most of them are just kids are kids. They see a balloon they like, they see an animal they like at a game, stuffed animal, whatever. Kids are, that way, Parents can't find them. Most of them are usually reunited with parents within hours. Back in the days, it's quicker now. A lot of fairs, you have armbands for the kids that have, parents' phone numbers, stuff like that. But in the past, it has led to criminal investigations. The children were found, but not in the same state they were when they went missing. So that's another big one. There's also, and to this day, people still say about the games, and I think some of them are counterfeit carnival games. They're rigged games. So basically, you can't win those prizes. Like you might win that little dollar
Right.
toy, but you spent
You went,
$10 on that
yeah.
dollar toy. But to get that big, huge one, it's gonna take you a couple $100s to win it.
Right.
Um,
You can go to Walmart and buy it.
right, right. That's what I always try to explain to my kids. It's like we can go to Walmart, go get you the same one. And it's gonna be a lot cheaper for me, but I guess it's not the same. They want to play the game to win it. I
It
don't
is.
know.
It is. It's fun.
Back in the days, pit pockets were very bad because fairs, even the fair here that we're going to have in a few months gets, I think, like 45,000 people per day. You think about when you have all that people pickpocketing, it's so much easier. People are all on top of each other and stuff. You're actually bumping into each other. So it's nothing if you feel someone bump into you. And meanwhile, they just stole your wallet or whatever. So pickpocket has been a big problem. I have not seen this in recent fairs. I'm guessing I know it's been in fairs before. I've seen it in movies and shows and stuff like that. So I'm guessing they just don't do it anymore. Or I just have not been to a fair that has it. But fortune tellers, it says fake fortune tellers. They can remove curses from you for a couple $1,000s. And depending on how long ago that was, a couple $1,000
How would I
is a lot
know
of
if I
money.
got a curse on me, though? I mean, how would I know?
I guess every time you walk outside, if lightning tries to hit you, and every time you're driving, someone tries to hit you, you might think you're cursed. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you made an ex mad, and they did cursing and stuff, so you might think you're cursed. Oh, either way, a couple $1,000s is a lot of money, whether it's today or 200 years ago. Anyway,
Yeah, back then that was way, way.
Right, exactly. Carnival workers on a run. Some fugitives found work traveling carnivals in the 1900s because carnivals were always traveling. So you were getting away from the police if you were a wanted fugitive or something because you're traveling. You're gone.
Yep. Easy way out of town.
Exactly. One that we all know, none of us have seen it in our lifetime, as far as I know. I think it's way before all of our lifetimes. But we've seen it on movies, we've seen it on shows, and it's the human freak shows. People with medical conditions or anything like that, they use them as freak shows. I mean, you had like the small people, the tall people, the ones with extra limbs, whatever, They use them as freak shows, and you pay to get to go see
Right.
a zoo of them. There has been animal abuse behind the scenes for animal acts.
Oh yeah.
They were found to be cruel treatment and poor living conditions. And I know just a few years ago there was actually a zoo that got in trouble for that too. I can't remember if it's in America or not, but I remember there was a zoo, or not a zoo, a circus. Sorry, a circus. They got in trouble for that. The elephants weren't being taken care of. So yeah, and then like you said, electrical came in when the fair first started. There wasn't a lot of electrical stuff like that. As electrical came in, there were more fires because the wires were just temporary wires,
Right.
and they catch on fire. Whether it's the rise, whatever it may be,
Imagine being in one of those tents. No.
Right, exactly. For the workers, there was the right operator fatigue because back then labor laws were not as strict as they are now. So they would work 16 to 20 hours a day from when the fair opened to when it was time for them to go to sleep to get ready for the next day. They would work 16 to 20 hours, no breaks, usually in the hot sun. I'm sure that's before they had their nice little booth that they stand in and stuff like they do now, And so a lot of operators end up passing from the heat and dehydration and everything else. There's been several fatal accidents occurring because restraints weren't locked properly for like the rides and stuff like that. The tilt-a-whirl. I'm sure if you ever been to I'm gonna say if you've been to a fair, you've seen a tilt-a-whirl. There has been many injuries or passed away after being thrown from it. Many roller coaster derailments.
I don't do roller coasters.
Right. Most of the riders were safe, but suffered severe. Most of the rides for the roller coasters are safe, but they have been found with rust inside, again, in a place you can't see, and so it causes derailment. Um, um, the workers, again, this is back in the days, labor laws weren't as strict. A lot of them lived in harsh conditions with little pay or job security. Basically, you were replaceable. I mean, and you got paid peanuts. I mean, I'm sure they got more than a bag of peanuts, but you get the gist. Um, Summer fairs is summer, like I said, is usually in the summer. That's why it's summer fair. Summer temperatures have caused fatal heat strokes among visitors.
Right, and you're talking back before ACs and
Right,
all,
right, right,
all
right.
that stuff
You're
was.
just out in the sun. I mean, yeah. And to this day, even though weather is strict, this could still happen. Lightning strikes on because usually it's open fairgrounds. So they've had some pass away from lightning strikes. Tornadoes are big at fairs and injuring crowds. There's been quite a few here listed. Again, open fairgrounds, usually perfect for that. Flash floods. There's been cases of ride sabotage. Some rides have been intentionally damaged by disgruntled workers or vandals to get back at the fair, the ride owners, whatever.
See, now hearing all this makes me not ever want to go to a fair again.
Right. There's been cases where some fairs unknowingly hosted organized theft operations. There's been carnival scams with fake prize promotions lured visitors in, spending for more than expected. There's been knife fights, pow violence. There is ghost stories. Some abandoned fairgrounds are rumored to be haunted by victims of past tragedies. Dangerous ride assemblies. They're constantly dismantled and rebuilt, increasing opportunities for mistakes. Again, they're a little stricter today on the inspections and stuff, but in a whole picture, there's been illegal vendors sometimes sold unsafe food. It's counterfeit food vendors. So I'm guessing someone.
That turkey leg was a couple of days old.
Yeah, a couple days old, or wasn't the right temperature, or they cooked that pie that you buy at their house that was dirty as could be, and had bugs or something, and there was a bug. It didn't really go into
right.
details. Fuel leaks have caused fires and explosions, causing an exploding generator. Animals have escaped. Which is lions, elephants, other animals have escaped from traveling shows. Some workers accepted dangerous jobs just to survive, just to make a couple bucks. You had fake charity booths. Some booths claimed to support charities while they pocketed money. I think we still, not necessarily at the fair, we still deal with stuff like that today. You have small town fairs sometimes featured poorly built rides because they were homemade attractions. They weren't even designed by an engineer. They're just homemade. Broken seatbelt, overload rides, junk ride operators, hungover drunk.
A lot of that goes back to just greed, really. I mean, people just getting greedy and not wanting to spend the money to maintain and take care of things, So that's poor businesses. So yeah, hopefully today the companies that are that operating the fairs and stuff are a lot safer than they were. But I mean, like you said, even 2011.
Which, again, the 2011, 2017, well, they're both something that, they didn't know, they knew to watch for storms and stuff, but, so the stage accident, but now it's stricter. But the rust on the inside, that's not something they would normally check, it wasn't on the inspection list.
Right.
So, yeah, you've had firework accident stampedes, there's been all kinds of dark history on it. But
I
I
like
will
I
say,
like the fun things better, like the little cutouts to where you take the family, the pictures. You put your head through the little hole, and everybody takes the
right,
picture.
right. Everyone's a farmer, everyone's a seal or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
know I've went to the fair the last few years. I did not get to make to the one last year, but the last few years I went to the fair, and it definitely feels a lot safer. Um, pickpocket and stuff like that. Fairs usually have security of some type.
Yeah, it's a
And,
lot. It is a lot safer. I mean, they got more security walking around.
right,
I think most of their. I don't think it's a. They do hire some day labor to help set up, but I think they have their own crews too that do the basics and then like you said, there's inspections and stuff like that.
right.
There's more
Um,
codes nowadays than there
yeah,
was.
exactly. I do know most of the crew that I used to do security in Mississippi, and so I got to see when they were setting up the rides and stuff like that, which is really cool because they're 18 wheeler. They go from the 18 wheeler to the Ferris wheel. Um, and I will say most of the crew usually travels with them. So it's crew that's been setting up that Ferris wheel, that's been setting up that roller coaster, whatever it may be, multiple times because they travel with them. They're part of the carnies that travel with them. But it's really cool to watch them set it up. They'll put like yellow tape on the ground, and that's exactly where everything's going to land, and it lands right there too. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so the people that are setting up now, most of them do travel with them, so it's not someone new every time setting it up. So it's actually getting done right and not halfway right because someone's just guessing or looking on the browser to see how to set it up or something. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a lot safer now. Food code, if you go to any of these, I've worked out for a restaurant and we had a trailer out there at the fair and we sold food there. And you have the health department that comes and checks it and everything before you
Right.
can even open. They do a health inspection just like a regular restaurant. You have your little paper to put in the window, so you have your grade and everything there. So food code is a lot more stricter now. Um,
Mhm.
I don't think the games change much. You're still gonna pay $30-$40 for that little $5
Well, yeah, but
animal unless you're really really good.
it's the fun times, it's the family
It's the memories.
memories,
Yes,
it's the
exactly.
food, it's the indulging in things that you wouldn't generally do on a regular basis. It's
Right.
that one time a year that everybody wants to rush out and they want to indulge in fun, and even though it's 100 degrees outside, they still manage to go out there and do it because it's something they look forward to. And even though you don't have the invention side and things like that no more, because that stuff just kind of like faded away. There may be like one tent there to where you can see like the new upcoming things, but none of that stuff is really there anymore. But it's still nice to be able to do as a family, yeah, or a
Yeah.
group of friends. Just go out and have fun, and like I said, indulge in junk food and fried butter and
I like the fried Oreos. They have fried Oreos.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they got pretty much fried
Fried
everything.
anything. Yeah.
It's like if you can fry it, they're gonna fry it at a fair.
Exactly. And when it comes to new stuff, I think it really depends on the area you're in. Because I went to the fair in South Dakota a couple times, and South Dakota, the part I was in, is a lot of farm area, a lot of farm areas. So it'd be nothing to have one of these tractor brands out there showcasing a new tractor that
True.
So I think it really depends on the area you're in. Like the fair here, obviously, is in a big city. Nobody cares about a tractor in a big city. What are they gonna do with a $500,000 tractor in their little tiny backyard that the tractor won't even fit in? So I think it just depends on the area when it comes to that. Because like FFA is still a big thing in more of the rural areas. Again, FFA you really don't need in the cities because you
Right.
can't really have a farm in a city. I mean, you can have a little garden farm, but not a actual farm. So I think a lot of these practices are still part of the fair. It just depends on what part, what's the area like around it. If it's a rural county fair, then maybe if it's a state fair, it's probably gonna be in a big city. and you're probably not gonna get all that.
We have county. Yeah, we have county. We don't have a state fair here. I mean, you still have your animals and stuff like that, but it's not. It's. I don't think it's the competition like it used to be. A lot of that's changed, but you still got your music and, like you said, you got your fun time, your entertainment, you're indulging in food that you wouldn't generally eat.
I love food, especially junk food.
And that's what a fair is all about, is junk food.
I mean, honestly, that's when I go to fairs, I usually go for a few things. One, I don't go for the rides. I don't really care for the rides. So usually I go, food is number one. Number one.
I like to play the games. I like I said, I'm more of a gamer. I like to do the balloons, and I like to do the little water gun.
Right.
I don't do the rings for the fish that I'm going to take home and then flush anymore.
Right.
That's pretty much basically what you do.
Right.
You take it home and flush it down the toilet. It takes a little sea ride. My favorite ride is like the Himalaya and the tilt-a-whirl. Yeah. Oh, the bumper cars are fun too. Yeah. Yeah, bumper cars.
I go eat. I usually watch the concerts. Like this one here has big name concerts. Really big name concerts that we all know. I won't say names.
Right.
And then I always go for the rodeos and the car derbies. That's my favorite part.
We don't have. Yeah, see, we don't have.
Oh man, yeah. See, the one in Indiana, the one in South Dakota, and the one here in Tennessee does it. But the one in Mississippi did not do the rodeo and car derby.
We have separate rodeos.
Right. Well, we did too, but it just is part of the fair too. It usually was the rodeos in the fair. The one here, I know it's not big name people because it's my neighbors. They own a rodeo farm, and they're big for this area, but they're not professionals or nothing. They're big for this area. And they're the ones that throw the rodeo at the fair. And then the one in like South Dakota is usually local ones, like not the college or anything. See, throughout the year they have the college that does the rodeos and the pro rodeos and stuff like that. So this is more people that's basically like a little league compared to like the pros and the college. It's a way to get their names out, I guess. But yeah, so that's my favorite parts of the fair.
Well, I mean, they may have the other parts, and I just miss it because of the timing. Because they have like events throughout the day
that's exactly it. Because like they'll have the rodeo on like a Thursday here, and then they'll have the car derby on a Friday here, and then Saturday's more just concerts and the rides and stuff. So it could be that you could just went the wrong day or something. And your area might not do it. Like I said, Mississippi, they did not have it. When I used to go to one in Mississippi, they did not have them. So it might just be the South might just be too hot for the animals or something. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, they do. They do like the animals that you can go pet and like the giraffe and things like that.
Bull riding and stuff like that. That might be a little too much with 100-something degrees. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, because most of the rodeos are like January, I think, when it's cooler.
Yeah, and like South Dakota is from I think basically August till pretty much till college gets out, so May.
Right.
So it's because the college there, the university is there, so they have like the college competitions where they play. It's like a football game, but it's bull riding and stuff. It's pretty fun. But yeah, so there's plenty of tragedies, but I just named y'all 50 of them. And so if you want to find out more, there's plenty more. There's plenty of stories on it.
Sorry about my dog. It's storming out, and he barks at thunder. He
wants to go to the fair. He wants to go to the fair. Come on, let's go to the fair, Mom. Let's go to the fair. Yeah, so today we walked through the bright lights and the dark shadows of America's summer fairs. We talked about how these events began as simple community gatherings, celebrated traditions that have brought families together for generations, and explored the tragedies, scams, disasters, and difficult moments that many people have never heard about. But if there's one thing we hope you take away from this episode is this. Many of the rules we see today, lock-in safety bars, emergency exits, weather alerts, routine inspections, trained ride operators, and stronger security exist because of real tragedies. Every warning sign, every inspection sticker, and every safety checklist represents a lesson learned, often at a terrible cost. While today's fairs are generally much safer than they were decades ago, these improvements remind us that safety regulations are often written in responses to history's hardest lessons. The next time you hear the music of the midway, smell the popcorn and the funnel cakes, or climb onto your favorite ride, remember that behind all the fun is a history of resilience, innovation, and lessons that help make these events safer for everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite summer fair memory? Have you ever experienced something funny, strange, or even a little scary at a fair? And after hearing today's stories, has your perspective on fairs changed at all? Let us know in the comments. We read them all, and your story might even be featured in a future episode. If you haven't already, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who loves history, mysteries, and the stories hiding behind everyday traditions. Until next time, stay cautious, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, this has been Lorefield Sidekick Say Less, because sometimes history has already said too much. And I hope you have a good week, Sidekick, and everyone listening, I hope you have a good week. Bye.